So this is a brief video about how to channel for yourself. Channel divine frequencies, channel messages, whatever it may be, in whatever format. It's about connecting to your own channel. And we can dive into this for hours, but this is just the basics, okay? So the first thing is you've probably channeled without even realizing in your life. And what a channel is you are not using your mind. You are accessing something way deeper and connected to spirit, to source, to God, to love, to universe, whatever your language is. It is all connected to that space that we come from, that love, okay? And when we're channeling, we are becoming a conduit, a vessel for that frequency, which is why you've definitely, most likely, if you're watching this, have already tapped into it. The difference is the translation. A lot of the time, we follow our intuition. That's a channel. The difference is taking that feeling and translating it, whether it be in words, in music, in art, in other creativity, in energy, in so many different things it can channel. And in that channel holds frequency that activates. So you'll notice, like, music in general is a channel, right? All music is healing, really. That channel has specific vibration. And you're able to access that in any way you want, because especially if you're the one creating it. But you'll also sense it when someone else has channeled it. So that's number one. Number one, you've probably already fucking channeled. Number two, the best thing that I would say to begin channeling, if you're a beginner with this, in terms of cognizantly, because you're not, like, your soul is not a beginner, but if you are cognizantly a beginner, I would recommend using divination tools. Now, there's a lot we can talk about with divination tools. I've learned a lot on my journey about them, and I want to break it down from my perspective and from what comes through from spirit about this. Okay, so divination tools are tools. That's what they are. They are not the ones that dictate anything. They are simply a vehicle to tap into our own inner knowing. It only shows us what we already know, but we're bringing the unconscious, the super unconscious, which is the part of us that knows and has the wisdom that is interconnected to source, to the God of our understanding, to that love, right? And bringing it to the conscious space. And a lot of the time on our journey, when we are awakening, when we're learning things, we are not consciously aware of our inner knowing and our wisdom. That's the whole point. We're learning how to tap into something greater than ourselves. And that wisdom, however, is always there. So let's begin with tarot. Mythbuster about tarot is that it is like any other tool. You can use the meanings of the cards that are direct as a way to channel, because that's up to you. You can use them specifically for what each card means. But understand that tarot or any other type of card reading does not dictate your future, right? Just PSA. It is a way to anchor energy, to understand the energy and the overall story and picture that is being depicted to you, to receive the message that you are meant to receive, or for yourself or for someone else. And you will learn your way of this because, again, it's a translation. So you're understanding how to translate spirit, how to translate the messages and the understanding and the knowing, whether it's with words or without. If we're talking specifically about messages, tarot and oracle decks are a wonderful way of connecting, because it creates a very simple space where you get to receive the feeling behind the cards. The feeling behind the messages is where the claircognizance, which is like the psychic knowing behind them, right? Practice using, if you feel pulled to cards, practice opening one card for yourself as a message of the day, tapping into it as a feeling, not with the brain. Because again, that's why I recommend not looking at the meanings. I recommend tapping into the card in that moment for that message, because it will be different every time. When you do, you're going to hold that card, right? Let's say it's this card, right? So this is the Five of Swords. feeling into this card as a message for me, if that's what comes through, right, as the card for me for the day. And I'm going to feel into it as if it's an experience. Because channeling, all of this work, all of this energy is all about experiencing it. It can't always be explained mentally and logically because it is the unseen. And experiencing that, you are learning the translation of how, let's say, a symbol comes to your mind or a song. All these different things, you'll then understand and know psychically what the meaning is and what the message is for you. Practice that if you're into cards and you want to learn to channel. That's my recommendation. Now, there are many other ways that you can do this. There is free writing, which is not inherently for as a divination tool. It can be used to let out your consciousness, like to let out your stream of consciousness and your thoughts and your anxiety. But you can also use it as a divination tool, where a lot of the time I write conversations with my higher self, especially at the beginning, when I couldn't get the clarity and discernment just by feeling it and hearing it. By doing that with the honking of the horn outside confirmation, you can ask your higher self a question and you can simply just write what comes through or record yourself with what comes through, because then you're not thinking it through. You're not editing it. You're not questioning it, right? That's also a very good practice for channeling because it brings you and keeps you in the moment whilst you're writing it. Or depending on how fast the thoughts are, depending on how fast the channel is, you can also use voice note. And another disclaimer for that. It might sound, if those who are clairaudient, who are psychic hearing, it might sound like your own voice. That's okay. It's the feeling that you want to be really paying attention to, because the feeling's not going to be just random thoughts. The feeling is what is, you're going to notice repetition. You're going to notice the sensation that comes when you hear that message, right? So again, the overall for channeling is about experiencing it. So free writing is another one. Another one I would recommend, but for only those who are ready to, and again, you have to trust your intuition with this, is a pendulum. Now, I've had interesting experiences with a pendulum in the earlier years of my awakening, which is why I would recommend it when you trust your channel, because a pendulum is a wonderful way for getting yes/no answers, and it works. And once again, it is a reflection of what you already know, okay? If you don't know how to use a pendulum, I can do a short on that, so comment below, but research a little bit into them, understand whether this is something that you would want to use. But if it's from a place of, I just need to know the answer of what's happening about anybody else but you, or even about the future, I would steer away from it for a little bit until you know and are comfortable with the unknown. Or you can do what I did and go through it and recognize that the pendulum is simply a reflection of what you want, but in the end, you are the sovereign being and you make the choices that you desire in your life. Nobody else, no other tool. Now, with every tool, cleanse the tool. Cleanse the energy around you. Set the intention that it is a safe space. Archangel Michael is a wonderful archangel to call forward and call upon to help protect the energy and the space for clarity. I always set the intention to receive exactly what I am meant to hear to support me on my journey. And again, it's all about intention with the experience. So once it's protected, you can then allow yourself to receive. Surrender any expectation with what wants to come through you. That way, there is no confusion. There is no hesitation. It just, you're allowing it to just be a full-on flow through you. All right. Is there anything else, Spirit? Yeah, that's what's coming through for this brief little basics about channeling. Comment below if you're interested in doing a little class, and I can put that together because I can talk about this for hours. And let me know how it goes using these basics. All right. See you later.